We are the Gujarat Technological University. Since its inception over a decade ago, GTU has been empowering young and curating minds to realize their true potential. Over 4 lakh inspired students are enrolled with one of the premier academic universities in India. With more than 450 affiliated colleges in its fold operating across 5 zones of the state, GTU, the International Innovative University, your place to move forward.
Namaste students, myself Sunil Patel. Today we will learn about the development and design of the DC machine. This video is for the 6th semester student. They having a design of DC machine and transformer subject. So before starting the development and design, we understand some basic of the DC machine. So what is DC machine? We can define it as a rotating device which can be either a motor or generator. Depending upon its construction and operation, it is classified as a motor or generator. A motor is a device that convert electrical energy into the mechanical energy, and a generator is an electrical device that is used to convert energy from the mechanical to electrical. Now we understand that how the DC machine is working. Basically, the DC machine work on the Faraday law of the electromagnetic induction principle, which state that when the conductor cut the magnetic line or force, then an electromagnetic force will be induced within the conductor. In DC generator, when the coil placed in the magnetic field, it rotates by means of the prime mover or any handle. The coil cut the magnetic line of force to induce an EMF. This induced EMF developed current in the armature winding. The direction of this current in DC generator can be observed through the rules of the Fleming right hand. Now the DC machine having a different types. It is basically divided in 3 parts. One is separately excited, self-excited and permanent magnet. Now the self-excited is further divided in 3 parts: shunt excited, series excited and compound excited. The compound excited is further divided in 2 parts: cumulative compound and differential compound. It is further divided in long shunt and short shunt. So these are the different types of the DC machine. DC machine having different type of machine having their several application. It is used in traction system, air compressor, vacuum, lathe machine, centrifugal pump, fan, blower, conveyor, lift, rolling machine. So there will be so many application of the DC machine. Now we start the construction of the DC machine. Basically, the DC current or direct current generator and the motor may be divided in 3 general classes. One is the non-commutating pole machine, used only for generator and motor for low voltage and small capacities. The second is commutating pole machine, is built with small pole between the main pole and is magnetized by winding in series with the armature. The third one is compensated machine as a modified commutating pole machine. You can see here the type of the construction generally used for direct generator or motor. The spider of the DC generator or motor is the frame upon which the armature lamination are assembled. By designing the spider with the large axial ventilating ducts, good ventilation of the inside of the armature is obtained and the weight of the armature is kept small. So the spider for the large machine is either a steel casting or is a fabricated from rolled steel. So it is basically made by steel casting material. Now the armature of the DC generator and motor is built up of electrical sheet steel lamination varying in the thickness from the 0.0141 to 0.025. The lamination are punched to correct size by means of the carefully annealed and insulated. The usual method of insulating the armature punctuating is that applying thin coat of core plate varnish to each side of the punching. The paper is sometimes used to insulate the armature lamination from one another. The paper is applied to the sheet steel before it is punched out. The insulated armature punching is assembled on the spider between two end plate. The tooth support generally consists of piece of the rolled steel spot welded to the end of the lamination. The armature coil are placed into the slot with the required amount of the insulation between armature iron and coil, and the slot are sealed with the wedges. The type of wedge generally used in an horn fiber impregnated with the paraffin. Now the band of the phosphorus bronze or steel wire are used to hold the armature coil and connection in position. The slots are not always sealed by wedge. They are sometimes left open and the coil held in the place by phosphorus bronze or steel band wire as shown in figure. So this is the figure of the armature. Now we talk about the commutator. The commutator is built up of hard drawn copper segment insulated from one another by mica. So it is insulated by the mica material. The thickness of the mica insulation wire from the 0.02 to 0.06 and depend upon the diameter of the commutator and the voltage between adjacent segment. Now next is field pole. The main pole of the most modern machine are built up of the sheet steel lamination, usually from 0.025 to 0.05 in thick. The lamination are riveted together with no insulation between them. You can see the figure. Usually shape of the lamination with pole body and pole shoe punched in one piece. The objection to the cast steel pole construction lies in the fact that it is difficult to obtain casting of the uniform material and free from the defects. With open armature slot, the type of generally used for a DC motor and generator, cast steel pole shoe can not be used because of the excessive eddy current loss in the pole face due to the air gap flux pulsation produced by the armature slot. Field yoke, it is the main part body of the DC machine. So the field yoke is a frame to which the field pole are bolted. So the pole are mounted or bolted on the field yoke. The section of the yoke must have the required area for the flux and must also have the required mechanical strength to support the machine. Now bearing. The bearing is the most modern DC machine are of the ring oiling type. The bronze bearing is generally preferred for a small machine, and for a large motor and for large generator, Babbitt bearing are used. Now brush holder and brush yoke. So brush is used to collect the current, as we know that. So brush holder are mounted on the stud or arm, which are generally brass rod for half to 1 in diameter. The brush stud are pressed into the opening properly spaced in the bearing bracket. Figure show the one type of brush yoke with the brush arm, brush holder and brushes. Brush is made up by carbon material. Now the base where we put our machine, so we need base. So all belted type motor and generator are mounted on the belt tightened base or on the rail. The base or rail are bolted down and the machine can be moved on the base by means of the racket device. Now for calculation of the different parameter when we design the machine, we need some formula for calculating the parameter. So here we learn about those parameter. Voltage formula and output equation. Basically the voltage formula, that is E is equal to 5P N divided by A60 into 10⁸ volt, where E is the voltage induced in the armature winding between adjacent brush. For calculating flux per pole, the phi is equal to EA into 60 into 10⁸ divided by N and P lines. This you will get the flux per pole. So the number of pole you have to multiply it by the number of pole. The hypothetical total flux phi t is equal to 5P divided by FD, where FD is the field from distribution factor, which it is the ratio of the area under the true to the area of the hypothetical rectangle field. So phi t is equal to EA into 60 into 10⁸ divided by N and FD lines. Now the output equation of the machine. The armature output direct current generator expressed in the kilowatt. So kWA is equal to E into Ia into 10 to minus 3. Now by putting the value of E over here, so we will get kWA is equal to 5T NNFD Ia divided by A into 60 into 10 to 11. Now the total flux is equal to the product of the gap area times the maximum air gap density phi t is equal to pi di bg lines. If Q equal to the ampere conductor per inch of the armature periphery, so Q is equal to NIA upon A pi d. So if we put the value of the Q in the formula, we will get the value of the kWA. Now the value of Bg, that is maximum air gap density, limited by the permissible value of Bt2, the maximum tooth density Bt2 is equal to Bg pi d divided by Wt2 K1S line per square inch. So by using this different formula you can get different parameter. Now the air gap is also the most important part when we design the machine. So the air gap density that may be used for preliminary design may be taken from this curve. So depending upon size of the machine, you have to take the different value of air gap by using this graph, and you can check your efficiency by the different value of the air gap. Now the average value of the Q for commutating pole machine, by using this figure you can check the ampere conductor per inch of the armature circumference. So what will be the value of the ampere conductor? Now the average value of the output constant for the commutating pole machine for the 50 degree Celsius temperature rating may be taken from the curve. You can take the output constant rating from this graph. Now the induced voltage in the motor, that is equal to Et minus IaRc volt, multiplying both side by Ia, we will get EIA is equal to Et Ia minus Ia square Rc watt. So Et Ia is the power delivered to the armature and EIA is the power developed. Subtracting subtracting core losses and the friction and windage losses from the development power gives the power available at the shaft. So the developed power, that E is equal to Td into N into 746 divided by 5250 watts. So according to that you can calculate the torque by using this formula. Now the armature peripheral speed. The diameter and the length of the armature should be so chosen whenever possible that the peripheral speed of the armature will not exceed from the 6000 feet per minute, as high peripheral speed lead to expensive construction and the commutation difficulties. For generator for direct connection to the steam turbine, the peripheral velocity and the armature may be 15,000 to 20,000 feet per minute. Such a generator requires special construction and very carefully design of the commutating field. Except for turbo generator, and the peripheral velocity of the DC generator and motor is generally between 1200 to 6000 feet per minute. Now the armature diameter and length. When the output constant is known as the product d square L is radially found, either the diameter or the length may be assumed and the other dimension calculated. For high speed machine, the diameter is eliminated by the peripheral velocity, so we can get the value of the diameter by using this formula. Now the number of poles, by for the calculation of the number of pole, this is the one table that given to you. According to your output in kilowatt, you can see there will be two table. One is for the medium and high speed design, and another is slow speed machine. So for high speed machine, you can see that up to 2 kilowatt and over a 1300 rpm speed, you need to design a 2-pole machine. For the 2 to 100 kilowatt output, and if your rpm speed is up to 300, then you have to use 4-pole. So according to your output and speed, you can choose your number of pole for the medium and high speed, and as well as for the slow speed machine. Now design of the pole shoe. The pole shoe is mounted on the pole, and the pole shoe is used to spread the flux which is produced in the stator, so that the rotor can get maximum flux linkage. Now a good air gap flux distribution curve is obtained with the shape of the pole shoe. With the help of the pole shoe, we can get good flux distribution. The construction of no load field form. The usual flux per pole in passing from the pole shoe into the armature spread out over the entire pole pitch. The flux will distribute itself in the air gap in such a way that the total reluctance will be minimum. The flux path in the air gap under the pole may be assumed to be divided in the tube of the force as shown in the figure, each tube being of the unit length in the direction parallel of the shaft. So for this construction, the length of the air gap must be known. It may be estimated by the help of this curve. You need to take a different value of the air gap and check the output of the machine. According to that, you can decide the value of the air gap. For the larger number of the square at the pole, the ratio of the side of the square must be multiplied by the ratio of the number of square. The flux plot for the 300 kilowatt 900 rpm DC generator is shown here. Now the air gap flux distribution factor. The definition of the air gap flux distribution factor has been given above as the ratio of the area under the flux distribution curve to the area of the rectangle having the same base and the maximum ordinate. Now in this figure, it shows the air gap flux distribution curve and calculation for the average ordinate and the flux distribution constant. So from this graph, you can choose the value of the flux distribution and the flux So I hope that you can understand very well, and this video is useful to you for understanding the development and design of the DC machine. Thank you very much.